Hello, I'm Yav Nissan and I'm in English 134 section 10. So I decided to answer the first prompt, which asked to detail your evolution as a writer throughout kindergarten, but I decided to start it a little bit in third grade. So just a little background, I moved here when I was in third grade to the Bay Area in a city called Sunnyvale, and I moved from Israel, so a different language was not always that easy. So moving here, I remember I had a tough time with English specifically. I would never understand the difference between a comma or a period, and don't even get me started on the semicolon. I did not understand why we even needed that in our writing, but it was always tough for me to understand and comprehend the different language and even the different style, because in Hebrew you write from right to left, and now they wanted me left to right, so I was like, oh my god, what is happening? But over time, obviously, just from hearing it more, I began speaking and even writing better, starting to understand a little bit more about spelling and sentence structure as well as grammar. Well, as years passed into high school, I began to see a pattern. The same template came up, the same paragraph template, as well as the same kind of essays. We would read a book, then have to analyze it. I read novels such as Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare, The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini, which, don't get me wrong, is one of my favorite books of all time, but when you need to write an essay about it, it's not that fun anymore. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and East of Eden by John Steinbeck, which is a great novel once you get past 200 pages or so, in my opinion. But I feel like in my high school career, I feel like and what you needed to do was make an inference about the metaphor, tone, diction, any literary devices that would help you make your essay or just make your understanding of the novel better. And in order to be original or creative, in my opinion, I had to kind of make up a new unique metaphor, a new unique symbol. I always stuck to the symbols because in my opinion, I was pretty good at it, but I I would always make inference in, let's say, in The Great Gatsby, I made an inference about the water and how when he sinks into the illusion of the dream that he had and the wealth that he desired to have. But I was often docked down, obviously on grammar, vocabulary, and flow, but I felt like what I couldn't get my point across to be was that I would get deducted on points for making unique inferences that really didn't have anything to do with one another, but contributed to like the question that I was asked to answer in the essays, or that answered my thesis. So I felt like that was a common pattern in high school as I transitioned from like normal literature and world literature to American literature honors and later on to AP literature. And then coming into this class, I didn't really know what it's like to write an essay about not a novel. So when I was first assigned the travel narrative, first of all, writing in the first person was a reliever, like I haven't done it in such a long time, but I felt like it just opened up my creativity and my kind of exploration of writing to a whole new level, because I was always stuck on making an inference or symbol. But here I was really writing about how I felt, trying to make an inference on my life and trying to showcase what I believe in and give a little taste of myself on writing. And that really like sparked my writing, because now, like, unlike high school where I just found it not really fun to write essays because I was like, oh man, like another essay. Here I was like, I didn't really, I was like, oh my god, like new kinds of writing, and I felt like I could really elevate my writing. And the next essay obviously was the proposition one. And it was, I did a little bit of a research paper before, but it was never like this one. I think this one was a lot more opinionated, and it gave me the freedom to showcase my belief on a proposition, which I don't necessarily think I would have the freedom to do so. And then the last essay, obviously, that I'm working on right now, it allows me to be creative with my idea, which I really love, creating new startup ideas and just new ideas to help the world. So it's like perfectly suited for me, and I really enjoy coming up with new ideas. And finally, I wanted to talk about this assignment. So obviously, as you can see, I am not giving or turning in an essay, but rather am giving a video or like a public speaking kind of announcement, as you can say. But I feel like even though I progressed so much as a writer since third grade, obviously, and I think one of the key things that has allowed me to progress so much is my creativity with it. With it being an influence in a book, or just an influence from a coffee place to my life, I think I still am really scared to turn in essays every time. It's a very scary idea for me, because as you can see, I can articulate myself pretty well when I'm publicly speaking to people, and I enjoy it very much, actually, as you noticed in the class for me talking so much. But I feel like when I go down and I write the paper, I always find myself having a hard time to put my thinking into words, and that has been a key idea that I've been struggling with and talked to my teachers in high school, and even with my mom and my family. And I think that's something that I personally need to just read more books, understand flow, and understand what my flow really is before I can actually articulate my own. And I think that's something that I still need to learn, but I'm progressing to, obviously, as you write more, and as I've been able to write more about my personal narratives, I've been able to showcase my kind of flow and my articulation in paper. I think that's something that has progressed. So thank you so much for this coda. I enjoyed it so much. I will continue writing, and hopefully I'll show you some of my pieces of work soon. Thank you.